All right, so there we go. All right, well, welcome everyone. I'm going to share my screen now so we can get the workshop going. So, and you should be able to see a PowerPoint presentation right now. So, okay, good. All right, so today our workshop is about analytics. And in particular, we're going to be working on building real-world data dashboards and the process of using this to make decisions. And we're going to do it with Primo Analytics. Could do all my analytics, but Primo Analytics is interesting because it relates to things that we do on the catalog and how our users, students, faculty are interacting with our resources. So it gives us some really interesting usability data. So we're going to go through that. And the slides I'll go through fairly quickly. But basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be exploring these aspects of the analytics. We're going to be looking at analysis, graphs, reports, dashboards. What are they? How do they all relate to each other? So we're going to explore that. So we're going to talk about analytics to get quick information, but then also working with multiple reports, multiple analyses, combining them together to build a dashboard. And then we're also going to look at graphs. Graphs are something we didn't talk about in previous section or workshops, but actually are pretty cool. They can really add to your dashboard, and they're really neat. Okay, so and the concept of dashboard, just the whole thing, idea of a dashboard is one place that you can go and view multiple data points, multiple graphs, multiple data tables. So you're not just looking at data one by one, in isolation. You're combining them in some meaningful way. And also using techniques like tabs. You can create tabs for different thematic combinations, and we'll look at that. You can use dashboards to do things like show change over time, and sorry, change over time. You can also add filters to it and give the users control over those filters too. We'll look at that as well. And then you can also use dashboards to give information, but not too much at one time. You can actually control that. And then you can also summarize key performance indicators, pull those out, show those up front. So it's typical of what a dashboard would do. And we're going to look at some of the stuff that Primo or Ex Libris gives us as well to start with. So here's basically the workflow that we're going to follow to build our dashboard. We're going to create different analyses within the analytics module. We're going to build those individual analysis by adding graphs and titles, make them look more attractive and meaningful. We're also going to work with table prompts, which is going to give us the ability to give users ways to control the data that's displayed. We're going to rearrange elements on the dashboard, and then we're going to do some of these steps over and over again, and then build our dashboard. So that's it. And then this is from a previous workshop. And this is just the type of data we're going to be working with. Primo actions, the devices that we're using, facets, popular searches. So we're going to be looking at this stuff. This is stuff we're going to look at. And that corresponds to the things that people use on the Primo. So like when they click on some of these facets over here, the Primo is capturing that. When they do a sort, Primo's capturing this. When they select one of these and click on it, we're also capturing that. We're capturing all sorts of information, how people use this top bar up here, when they go to their library account. All that information is actually saved, captured by Ex Libris, which is really cool. So we're going to explore, how we can analyze that data. Okay. So moving back, and then, this is just normal kind of what you do in analysis. So we'll look at that. So anyway, enough from that. So to get to the analytics. The way it works, and this is of course Georgetown, but it should be the same for everyone, is that you'll want to get in here, and then you have to be authorized. You have the role for analytics. You have to have that role assigned to you. And in particular, you have to be able to do design analytics to actually design analyses and dashboards. And the one you see here is for ALMA. This is kind of the default one, but then there's the Primo one. And you have to have this as well. You have to be able to have that role to see the Primo design analytics. But once you do, this is actually where you go. This is where you end up when you open that, when you click on that and get to the design analytics for Primo. So I'm going to go, and you may see a home screen like this when you first arrive. And this just is a quick kind of collection of the different resources that you have. But I recommend clicking on catalog, because catalog actually brings you to where you can do things. You can work with some of your data and actually do the analysis. Okay, so and if you have a question, raise your hand or chime in. You know, interruptions are fine. So let me know if you have questions along the way. Okay, so basically what we're going to be doing, and I'm not going to go into detail about some of the interface because I think we covered that before, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to build up our dashboard from the ground up. And that includes starting over here, and we're going to be working with analysis a lot. We're also going to be working with the dashboard and dashboard prompt. And filter we are going to be using, but we're going to use it within analysis. So we won't use it here. We'll use it a different way. But the basic way, this is the bones of what we're doing, is we click on analysis, and then we have the option to select our subject area, which corresponds to those main aspects of Primo that we've been talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with a I don't know if anyone has a preference, but we'll start with action usage and throw that up there. Okay, so action usage has to do with people clicking on different things here. This is and when you go into a title, for example, deadliest and germ, I always use germs, so no connection to the pandemic really. But when people go through this and click on things here, or even do the virtual browse or these links here, that's what we're seeing in actions. That's what an action is. So we are into actions, and again, this is the way this works, is that you have your action usage, and then you have all these different aspects or different kind of measures and categories that you can work with. So everything that has a little ruler is a measure, and what that means is that it's numeric. It's number data. Everything that is kind of this little check like table here is a category. So these are more like, Primo view, that'd be the main campus view, Qatar view, the demo view, something like that. They're categories. They're not numbers, they're just kind of terminology. So here's what we're going to start looking at. What we want to do is we want to look at action types. There's the different types of actions. Oh, is there a question? Nope. Okay. So the way this works is that we have, and I'm just going to start really kind of basic. We have action group. And then, so these are going to be categories of different action groups. That's the category we got here. And what we want to know is basically how many actions were performed. So when we pull this measure over here, so what this is telling us is that for every member of the action group, how many actions were performed numerically, what was the result? So let's look at that. And you click on results to actually see what the results are for this. So it'll do, so here we go, action group, collection, discovery, document, exploration, and these are the different actions. Now, what we have here, these numbers look pretty big. What we're seeing here is for the entire Georgetown University, because we're using the, we share our Alma and Primo with the main campus. So that's a lot. I mean, and I don't believe that we have 5.5 million document actions. here in Qatar. So how do we deal with that? So, and this is where we're going to talk about filters. Filters is a big deal for us. And filtering will allow us to kind of massage the data and get what we want. So the way I recommend doing filters, there's a couple ways to do it. One way to do it is to pull over Primo View here, and then click on this and filter. So what this is going to do is and I'll show you exactly what it's going to do. It's going to give us the ability to filter on the Primo View, and thankfully, they give us all the options. And the option we want, of course, is Qatar here for our specific location. Now, if we go to results, what it's going to show us is that it's going to limit or filter out all the data that is not Qatar, because I said I only want stuff that matches Qatar. So you can see the numbers are much smaller. But we also have this here. This is annoying. This data is redundant. It doesn't really tell me anything that I don't know, because I filtered it. I told it what to do. So we want to get rid of this. There's a couple ways to get rid of this, but I'm going to show you the way I think is the most efficient, most effective. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to criteria and work with that real quick. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to Primo View and delete it. And if you do that, it will actually keep your filter. And when we look at it again, we won't have that weird column. So that's one way to do it. And I'm just going to get rid of the filter, because the way I actually recommend doing it is instead of adding it, then removing it, I actually recommend coming over here and just clicking on filter. And what it's showing me is it's saying, okay, you can filter action group, which you have here, action group or actions. And I don't want to filter either of those. I want to filter on the view. So you click on more columns, and then you can go and find the one you want. Primo View, hit OK, and then I do the same thing I just did. But the big difference is it's not adding to it, so it just makes it more efficient. You might know this already, but just an extra tip. Okay, and then when I look at the numbers again, what I'm going to see is the same thing, basically, without that extra column. So that's cool. Now, there's a lot to this. So you can do a lot of different things with the views, the tables. So I'm going to show you a little bit as I go along. Just the variety of stuff we can do. So one thing we could do is add a grand total here. Because maybe I want to know, okay, this is everything Qatar, but maybe I want to know the total number of actions. So the way we do that is we go up here to this top, and we have different little options. If you hover over these little A, X, Y, Z, it tells you different things you could do. So I want to edit the view. So I'm actually editing this. I'm not actually working with the criteria. I'm editing what we actually see here when I click on edit view. And that'll bring me to, it'll keep me in results. I won't leave results, but now I get some more options to do stuff. And one option is this little Greek sum or sigma symbol, which is in math, it is equivalent to summation, doing some calculations. So I want a sum of everything after. So you see their grand total right there. So some of the cool thing about analytics gives you a lot of ways to do this sort of stuff, because it's Oracle Analytics. So it's everything that Oracle's providing. The hard thing, though, is that they're all over the place. There are different ways to do different things, and it takes a while to get familiar to everything. Anyway, there we go. And I click done. And the cool thing is it will retain that. So I'll save that in my analysis. And this takes a second to go back. So any question? Oh, okay. Okay, so here we are. So we got that there. So that's pretty cool, right? Now this one does not have a title right now. So the way what works with the title, and you probably know this, when you actually go to save it, it will actually, whatever you save it as, it will put that in the title. So this is going to be Qatar, and what we got here is action group. I'll just put action group, although this will not make sense in a minute. Action group, and then total actions. Or you could do total actions, oops, by action group, which is meaningful for what we're actually seeing. So this is total actions by action group. That's how it's being kind of sliced and diced. So there it goes right there. And I'm just going to do this really quickly. If we want to change that title, like I said, oh gosh, that's not actually the title I want. I can come in here and you can see it has checked display save name. If I uncheck that and say, I just want to say action groups or actions by, action group by total actions, or sorry, I got that backwards, sorry. Total actions by action groups. I can do that there and I can save that. So I will hit done. So again, just another little tip of how to make some modifications. We could do more than that, but that's all I'm going to do. You can see we have the save title here, and then this is our custom title. There's a lot more to it, but that's the basic. I'm going to actually, and I do this all the time, I save as I go along, just because the Primo and Ex Libris can be a little weird. It actually went down earlier today, you may have noticed. So I always like to save as I go along. Okay, so that's pretty cool, but we can do actually something even more interesting than this. So this is where it gets more interesting. Down here in the views in the bottom left corner, I actually see two views right now. I see title and table. That corresponds to these things here. What I can do, which is not intuitive at first, is I can add some visualization, some graphics to this. And the one I'm going to add, well, there's a bunch here. Let me show you what we're doing here. Primo or Primo Analytics will help you with your best visualization. If you click on that, it'll suggest what it thinks is the best visualization and add it. Kind of does it all for you. You don't really get to choose what it is, but it'll do it for you. So it's pretty cool, actually, right? I'm going to revert because I don't want. Well, I actually do want that, but I want to show you a different way to do it. So actually, actually, I'll say done, but then I'll get rid of it and redo it. So, okay, so now it adds it here to the view. And it's going to redo this here in a second, but I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of that graph because I actually want to control what's going on here. So again, you can do recommended and it gives you a lot of information, but then you can choose what you want. And you can do a title, a table, which is what we have already. But now I get to go to graph and I can choose what I want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pie chart just for fun. Pie charts aren't really recommended for data visualization for various reasons, but we'll use them here for this example. So here it is. It's shown here and it's got a lot of stuff. Now what we're seeing here is just different ways to customize this. We'll talk about this a little bit more. But basically what we're seeing is it created our visualization based on the data that's in our table. And we have that here. We could do a lot of different things, but first I'm going to do done just to say, yeah, I'm happy with a pie chart. And then it doesn't do anything yet until we actually grab this graph. And then either we have two options. We can click on this arrow to add it to the view, add view to the work area, or we can drag it up and actually put it where we want. You can see that line, that blue line, purple line, corresponds to kind of where it will land. So there we go. That's pretty cool, right? So we have that here. Now we can do some other things here. You can see that we have our legend here, and we also have the different sections. And if I hover over it, it shows me the numbers. What we can do is we can work with this to change the view properties. And I'm going to go to titles and labels here. And what I can do is I could go to data markers and click on format labels. And then I could say, show data labels always. And then it will, the value only, percentage of total, you know, we'll see what it does. But I could say, hey, actually put something on here. And there, it's refresh. There we go. So it's putting that data on there. So it enhances our visualization that way. So that was view properties. So now this is more meaningful because now, okay, 1/3, just over 1/3 was for search. That was the type of thing, and that corresponds to here, doing this stuff, the germs theory, germ theory, not germs theory. So that's actually, now I'm adding to the analytics right now, is adding to this action group here. So that's the real world kind of analytics here. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save this. And that's great. So now what I'm going to do, this is the process of my workflow for building a dashboard. So I've got one, and here it is. I've got one analysis right now, and that is, where is it? It is Qatar. Oh, here it's this one right here. Qatar total actions by action group. That's what I did here. So I'm going to create another one. Another analysis, and I'm going to do action again, action usage. And then I will go here. Okay. And okay, so here we are. So now I want to do a little bit different. I want to see not the action group, but I want to see maybe the subgroup or the action. It's just, so the action group is the highest level. And then the second highest is the action subgroup. And then the actual actions are like the specific things that you're actually clicking on, the actions you're performing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull actions and put that up on there. I'm going to also get the measure, how many actions were actually performed, put that there. I could do some other things, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the filter and add, again, the Qatar view. So it's our local data. Primo view, and then it's going to be Qatar. Oops, there we go. Okay, and now what I always do, once I get this up there, I kind of look at it and make sure that it makes sense. It actually is doing what I think it should be doing. And this one's going to be a little bit bigger, and because there's a lot of different actions here. So these are the actual actions that you do. So for example, RefWorks. 987, that corresponds to people actually clicking on that action right there. So that's what that means. Or if this is kind of funny in a way. You probably know this. Citation style 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. That actually corresponds. If you go into the full display, that corresponds to citation style 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you actually it's defined in the configuration for Primo what these slots are, but that's how it corresponds to there. So whatever style 1 is, or sorry, style 3 is the most popular, and if it's correct, that would be Chicago, which makes sense. We're doing a lot of primary source help right now, so that actually would make sense. Anyway, so that's what that is. That's a lot of data though, so which is cool. But so what I can do with this is a couple things. I can add visualization now, and this is where things get a little trickier. So I'm going to actually add a bar graph here, and you're going to see that there's going to be a big problem right away. So there it is. You can see the problem, right? That there's a few that are really dominant, then everything's kind of hard to see. It's really, it gets kind of lost in the noise here. You can't really see, like, go to newest or newspaper search, doesn't really register here. So one thing we can do is we can add a graphed prompt. And I'll show you what that is. So what if we want to actually do a graphed prompt that is, the action type subgroup. So we're going to do that. I'm going to add graph prompt subgroup here. And what that gives me the ability to do is to actually tell the graph to use these subgroups to actually create the graph. So like, I know that I'm interested in, let's say, link. Now, instead of seeing that kind of horrendous visualization, I actually see this, where it's doing based upon subgroup link. I see these things. So you can see link to source, link, additional link. Okay, that's not very meaningful, you get the idea. This is more usable now. This is something I can actually work with. So citation style, again, we're going to see just 1, 2, 3, 4. But now this actually is more meaningful or more usable is the word I should say. So that's graphed prompt here. That gives me the ability to do that. So let's actually see how this works. I'm going to hit done. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this graph to my display. And there it goes. Now I can actually control it. So again, this is giving us the ability to give options, give more usable tools to whoever's going to work with this analysis, this data here. So I could see, okay, all these different styles. Now, here's the other thing that we're missing though. You can see that these are just actions and I have action subgroup here. What if I actually want to see some of this combined? So the way I do that is I would actually then just drag action subgroup right over here, add that to this criteria. And when I go back to results, what I'm seeing is now they're added in here, the action subgroup action. Now we have another problem though. And you can see right away what it is. These action subgroups are actually over here on the right, which doesn't really make sense because they're actually groups that these different actions fit into, but this looks terrible. This is not usable because this is kind of meaningless. So to fix that, what we can do is click and drag, and then this will put it into a hierarchy. And you'll see right away, see, there's a big difference there. So this is a subgroup and it's grouping these together in the subgroup. So now I can see things together, but then there's another thing we might want to do here. Like actions, okay, actions are great and browse is great, but like, I don't know what the subtotals are. I don't know how I'm comparing these or working with them. I would want to add subtotals. So the way we can do that is we can go to edit view, and that's just going to edit this table here. It's not going to actually edit the visualization. It's just a table. So we're going to get into that. And remember these little summation things here we had? So if we do this one here, the sum for columns and measures, I'm going to do after. What it's actually going to do is give us a grand total here, which corresponds to that number we saw before. But what if I want these subtotals here, like for actions, browse? So the way you do that is you go to the action type, action subgroup, and click on this here. So it's another sum here and say after, and look, there it is. Pretty cool, right? And you can do that for multiple levels. So there you go. Now I know that the total for actions is 25,000. The total for citations is so it gives me more information, more data to help me understand, you know, what's happening. Okay, so we have another problem though. In particular, let's go back to that citation style. So it's kind of, well, there's two problems. One problem is that it's not really ordered in any way. It's just, I mean, it's ordered by the number, but there's no, it's not visually ordered. You know, the highest is in the middle, the lowest is maybe over here. It's not ordered that way. Also, I need some labels here. I like to see some numbers. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go back to this properties, titles and labels, data markers, and always to add those markers, which are the numbers, and I'll redraw this maybe and put that there. So that's helpful. Again, this is helping you again. So I know, okay, this is 6,000. I'm not guessing, oh, is it 6, a little bit more? I know, I can see the number. Now the other thing we're missing is the sorting. So let's do that. So the way you do the sorting is you go back to criteria. And the way we want to sort it is not by action subgroup, but we want to sort by action, because that's actually what we're visualizing. That's what we're showing. So I'm going to do sort descending. So it's got a sorted little arrow there. You can see right over action. It says it's sorted. That's the symbol for sort. So I go back to results. And then, oops, actually, no, that is not quite what I meant to do. Sorry, let's go back. Let's take that off clear sort. Let me do it here, descending. Okay. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, actually, yeah, sorry. I saw what happened is we have subgroup here twice, which is not correct. So let me delete that one. Let me clear the sort here. Let me save it. And I have not given it a title, so it'll prompt me for a title. So I'm going to do Qatar, and this is action subgroups. So total actions by action subgroup. Okay, there we go. And there we go. Okay, so go to results again. Make sure that it's looking correct. Okay, that looks good. We got the big mess here. We'll fix that. But what we want to do now is actually, you know what? I'm going to remove this one for the moment. I want to just do it by action subgroup, and then I will sort descending. Okay, this will be easier to see. Okay, and what I need to do now, since we don't have the action groups, subgroups, I actually need to remove this subtotal because it looks ridiculous now. So what I'll do is go to edit view. Okay, and I will remove the totals after for this one. There we go. That's better. Oh, and I see what I did. Okay, that's fine. We want that. We'll go back to criteria. Actually, I know what I did. You probably saw what I did too. So I sorted it alphabetically because I don't actually want to sort on action subgroup because I'm sorting the names. I want to sort on the numbers, obviously. So I'm going to sort descending on the actions. There we go. Okay. Now it'll look different. Yes, that's what I was aiming for. Okay. And you can see the thing I wanted to see here is that the graph follows that. The graph is going to follow the sorting that you do. So let's go back and let's do what I meant to do in the first place. So, and I'll show you how quick this can be. Action, I'll pull that back here. Still sorting on action. I'll go to results. And it'll be what we wanted again, but then again, I have to move action over here. And then let's see. Oh, it is sorting by actions here. So that's why we still have this showing up like this. But what we can do is if we go here, we can add back in our prompt. So what we'll do is action group graph prompt. Okay, that's, oh, not group, sorry. Let's exclude group, no, action subgroup. That's what I want. There we go. Okay. There, that's better. Okay. So now you can see the sorting here. So if we go to citation style, it sorts. So it retains that sort. So that's what I was trying to get to. This looks a little bit messy because the way that we're doing the sorting is we're doing it on the actions descending from top to bottom, like this. So that's why it's sorting that way. So any questions at this point? Okay, cool. All right, so what we're going to do. So yes.
Can I just ask something real quick?
Yes.
These citation styles with numbers, is there a way to edit that text so that you would actually know which citation style this corresponds to?
There is a way to do that, yes, but we're not actually going to cover that in this. Yeah, there's a way to go into, it's a pretty complex though. You actually have to go into, let's see, I think it is, no, it's not that one, sorry. It's actually, you have to go in here and do some work. In terms of the query, you have to make adjust the query. So it actually displays, and you can see I have it duplicated here. And the reason why, I think it's because I have these twice. No.
It's like, I was just wondering if it was possible. I don't expect you to show all the steps.
Yeah, yeah, it is possible. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, there we go. I was just fixing it because I had that word twice there. You may have noticed that as well. Yeah, sorry, Mirta. Yeah, it is possible to do it. And you do that actually in the criteria section. So I would actually go into, yeah, that is complicated though. Okay, so that's building up some analyses. So now we're actually going to start building a dashboard. So all of that was kind of just prepping us for this next step. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a new dashboard. Oh, and there's a chat here too. Oh, okay. All right, so we're going to create a new dashboard, and I'm going to call this one Qatar Primo data. Okay, and what I'm going to do is it puts it into follow a shared folder, and I can't save to the shared folder. It's kind of weird. So I just have to browse catalog and then go to my folder. Yeah, so put it right here in my folder. Hit OK. Yep, appear in the dashboards menu. That's fine. Now hit OK. Okay, there we go. So now it will save it there. And there we go. So here it is. We're editing a dashboard. And you see we have page one. Page one is the default. That's what it gives you. So if I want to edit that, I would go to dashboard properties here and page one. So it's right there. And what I want to do is actually edit this. So I'm going to rename it. And this is going to be actions. And you can name it whatever you want, but something that people, when they get to this, will actually, it'll make sense to them. Okay, you can see how it renamed it. So what we're going to do is the way that a dashboard works is that you start with one page and you can add multiple pages. So I'm going to add another one for facets, which is another piece of data we can look at. And then I'm going to add another one for devices. And there's so much you can do with this, but these are just general ones. So you can see now my dashboard will give me the ability to page through it. And that's the idea of a dashboard, that we're building up multiple data points that can be looked at in different ways. So the way that we work with this now is we actually build our dashboard by going to the folders and pulling over the things that we've been working with, the analyses. So I have action totals actions by action group. So I'm going to put that here. And I'm going to do total actions by subgroup. I'm going to put that right there. And these can be rearranged in all sorts of different ways. You can put it side by side, above or below. You can do all sorts of things. You can even add in columns and sections. But the way we're going to do this is I'm just going to have them stacked like this. And I'm going to go ahead and run this. And running it will actually let me see it in action, basically. And you can see this is the idea of a dashboard. You're putting together multiple visualizations, multiple data tables into one kind of grouping. So you can do some different analyses in one place. So if I want to look at every aspect of actions, I can put together several analyses in one place, and then I can go and work with them. And adding these controls will give me the ability to do different things, do different analysis. So we're going to kind of, because we are running out of time a bit, so we're going to run through this a bit more. So, so what I'm going to do is go back to the editing page. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go to facets. And I've already built a few things for us for facets. So what we have here is we have, let's see, and okay, we got facets set. Okay, Qatar facets set as persistent. This one's kind of fun, actually. And then Qatar facets selected. So what I'm going to do is actually put these side by side, because I want you to see that there's different ways to arrange these. I'm going to run this one now. Oops, let me save it first. There we go, saving. And then I'm going to run it. So There we go. Sometimes it wants me to wait. Okay, so there we go. We have two different visualizations here. This one's just a data table, and this one is got the visualization here. So what this is showing me is that basically facet set of persistent, that corresponds to when I select like open access, apply filters. And when I actually, once it's actually applied the filter, I said, remember all filters. This is now persistent, a filter or a facet that's set as persistent. So this is telling me that these are the different things that people are setting as persistent. And this one's empty. I think it's just, they're just making, I don't know what that is exactly, but it's empty. But they're saying full text online, articles, books, peer-reviewed journals. These things make sense to us, you know, what we've been teaching in classes. That's what this is showing. And here's some other things. So what I want to show you here, though, is if we want to edit this, we can click on this cogwheel and do edit dashboard. And what I can do to make this a little bit, because this is kind of it's hard to really understand what's going on here. What I can do is add more information to this. So I can add text. I'm going to add text and drag and drop it right there. And then what I can do is I can edit text. So this is Qatar facets, you know, what are the persistent and most popular. So I can add information here, and I can do things like make it bold, add entire paragraphs if I want. So again, this comes back to the idea of making the dashboard interactive, usable, attractive. Again, it's not the most attractive thing, but I think you get the idea that, you know, you have a lot of options to build this up. So here it is. Here's my title. I just added there. Okay, we're going to go to devices now, and we're going to work on this one. Okay, so I'm going to click on edit. This one's going to be a little bit different. Okay, so go back to my catalog here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a devices, Qatar devices right here. Okay, and let's see what this is. So I'm going to save this and run this. And we're going to see what it is. And again, these are some of the things I had built up beforehand. Okay, here we go. So these are Qatar devices by year. That's what I'm saying. So this year, 2018, 2019, 2020, these are basically what this is showing me is that the devices that people were using to access Primo. So in 2018, they were using laptops or PC with Chrome as the operating system and the Chrome browser 25 times. Mac was much more popular at that point. But then if we go through the different years, we can see, okay, Windows now appears, you know, Windows was here too. So we could see some different data, but this again isn't as usable as I think it could be because it's hard to read this, like what is what. This visualization here is adding everything together, you know, or throwing it all together. So how can we make this more usable? So the way we do that is we can go to edit dashboard, and we could do add something called a dashboard prompt. And what that is basically, and it's right here, I created a device year. I'm going to put it right there. And I'll show you what it is. So it'll, oops, let me save it. And so it'll make a little bit more sense to you. Okay, I'm going to run this. Basically what it is the prompt for the user to make a selection, to change the visualization, change the display. So I'm going to say, okay, I only care about 2020. And I hit apply. Look, everything now is just reshaped to be 2020. I don't see all the other stuff. It makes it a little easier to view. So the way I did this, and I'm going to go back to the catalog. The way you can do this prompt is by going to here and creating a dashboard prompt. Okay, so what I can do is pick the subject area. So I was doing devices before. I will do one on action usage this time though. And what you do, basically you say, okay, I want to add a prompt, column prompt, and I basically want to use the dates. I want to do by year. So I want to prompt the user to select a year, is what I'm doing here. Or I could say select a month or a particular date. Hit OK. And then what I can do is say, okay, right here, basically they have to make a selection, and that selection will create a filter that is equal to that year and from a list, choice list. So I'm gonna hit OK. And then it's created there. And this is what it looks like. So that's what we see, but this doesn't do anything yet. So what I have to do is save this, and I'm going to call this prompt. Oops, prompt, and this is in action. Yes, actions. Okay. Okay, I've created that. Now I can go back to my catalog. Okay, now the only other thing I have to do though is I actually have to go into, let's see, actions by subgroup, actions, total actions by action group. I have to go into this, edit this, because this analysis doesn't know that anything is going to be prompted until I say, hey, you're going to get a prompt. So what I'm going to do here is go to criteria, go to filters, and say more columns, and then say, let's see, dates, and it was year. So I have to pick the filter when I want. And then this is a critical thing. I say, oops, is prompted as the operator. So this is going to tell to use this filter once someone uses a prompt to actually call this. Okay, I'm going to save this. And this one is Qatar total actions by action something. We'll figure it out. Okay, total actions by action group. I'm pretty sure that's what we just did. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard real quick now. And let's see, Primo data. I'm going to edit. I'm going to create a new page just for fun. Okay, new dashboard page. Actions with prompt. Okay, hit that. Okay, now I'm going to pull in that actions by action group. And then I'm going to pull in my prompt now. Prompt actions year. I didn't put year. And I'm going to save it and run it. Okay. Now it's giving me the total for everything, but when I select one of these, I'm going to do 2020, hit apply. You can see it rewrites it. Everything's different. It updates it to correspond to what I've selected. I can select multiple. So I know that 2018 was a partial year for Georgetown. And so the numbers for that year, and they were testing a lot. They were doing a lot of testing that year. We were just migrating to Ex Libris. So I don't really care about that year because it's not really good data, but I can add multiple years. And now see, it corresponds to that. It's pretty cool, right? So these are ways that you can make, and that's pretty much it. You can make dashboards, make them more usable, more interesting. Oh, there's one quick thing I want to show you, which I forgot to add to this one, sessions by month. So this is where the real use of this tool comes in. So what this is, sessions, that's how many times people actually got onto Primo. This is showing me by month, January, February, so on, number of sessions. So this is the real world kind of power of this. From this analysis, this is everything for our Qatar campus. Shows me the fall semester is where we're having people come to our Primo a lot. And spring semester is not as much. That means that in fall semester, students are getting more assignments where they need to come to Primo and do searches, or their professors are requiring them to do more research, and spring isn't as much. So maybe that the real world consequence of that, maybe the librarians need to be more focused on teaching in the fall and supporting student research. And in the spring, they can maybe take a little bit of a break. If we believe this. Anyway, so that's it. That's the whole presentation. 2 minutes for questions, if there are any. So hopefully that was helpful. That shows you like a little bit more advanced, a little bit more complex use of Primo Analytics and how you can actually start creating dashboards and do some real analysis with visualizations, sorting, grouping. It's really powerful. I mean, and I know it's rushed, but you can do some cool stuff with this tool. So anyway, question, one question. No, Mirta, you look like you have a question.
Well, I just wanted to thank you.
Oh,
this was great.
Cool.
Unfortunately, I have to go. I'm at the desk.
Me too. Not the desk.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. I'll post this on the website. But I appreciate everyone participating, joining in, and look forward to being in touch tomorrow with our ELUX group meeting. Thanks, Leah. Okay, have a good afternoon.
Thanks, Robert. Thank you.